the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're with my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Inside of me, you better watch out if your enemy's a road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows mean. He gets claws real big, pissed off quick, and if you cross him you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the score, never getting bored, loves the blood and gore, always wanting more, feeding from the source. They don't really understand until they feel the force departed. If you start shit, you'll be heartless in the darkness, torn apart quick, you left scars ripped, you'll be chewed up and discarded. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened. And if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate.
Alright, y'all, we're here, we're live, you're watching Buster Unmasked. You know where you can catch us at: YouTube, Facebook, the X, every single Thursday night, 10 p.m. Central Time, Genesis TV Network. Look, guys, I don't know what to expect out of this show tonight. You know, you ever be laying in bed late at night, falling asleep, and you hear that creak across the floor when you know no one's in the house? Or what about when you wake up in the morning and the closet door is cracked open just a little when you knew it was closed when you went to bed? Or even worse, think about when you're starting to really fall asleep and you're in that slumbering state and you feel that hand reach out and touches you and it shocks you awake. Well, let me tell you something. My guest tonight could very well be the monsters in your closets and the monsters in your heads. They are the modern day monsters. I bring to you Draven Morrow, Ace of Morta, and the Warwolf, Bruce McGowan. Guys, I appreciate y'all for coming on, man.
Bruce, you can talk.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
What's up, man?
Oh,
Guys, look
What's
here,
going on,
man. Modern day monsters. Let's just get right into it, man. First thing I want to know, who came up with this idea, man? Whose idea was this?
Bruce, you want me to take this or?
yeah. Go ahead, man.
Okay. So we've been we were running at Hoxie for quite some time. We were doing our own kind of individual stuff. Asa had finally got back into the mix of things because her work schedule had kind of teetered that off a little bit. But we kind of me and Bruce had kind of done pretty much everything we could do there. So just jokingly one day I came up to Bruce, was like, you know what would kick ass is me and you start tagging, beer 30 plus Manai equals us. And
Right.
we just threw it out there, and that's kind of where it kicked off, pretty easily,
Right.
just as a joke at first, and then it just kind of caught some steam,
Man, that's how some of the best things in wrestling do come about, man. Sometimes they start out as a joke, or sometimes they're not even your idea. Somebody will throw something on you, and you liable to think it's stupid right off the bat, and then you do it a few times and realize, oh, this is gonna work, man. I love it, dude. I love the modern day monsters. It's really different than pretty much everything else out there that I'm seeing right now, and I think it's a super cool gimmick, man.
Yeah, it's dude, it is a phenomenon. Like when you see it, like when you see us, when you see the imagery and you see the pictures and the videos of us, you're like, oh man, these guys are heels, these guys are the bad guys, they're scary, they're monsters, they're all over the place. But the second that the music hits and the second that we're coming out and everything, the people that come to us the most are the kids. They really love monsters, and I've kind of coined the phrase the Monster Squad effect. When I was growing up, I loved like Universal Studio monsters, and growing up in the 80s and 90s, there were so many iconic monster characters and horror movie characters, and it was just like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest ever. So then getting to do this is to me, it's just like reinvigorating it and basically relearning the love of monsters. So,
right. I think we all, man, I'm the same way. I think we all love the noises in the night, man. That's why horror movies are so big, man, and always have been, and always will be. And kids, man, perfect for the kids. And I can see it. I can see that it basically turning out to, before it's over, be a babyface gimmick.
Well,
this time it is.
Right. We've been contacted by several promoters. Oh, you guys I love the look. I love the feel. Y'all guys are monsters. We've been described as Arkansas's own little Legion of Doom.
Right.
So when they see us, brawlers.
So when they see us, they're like, "Oh man, you guys are the perfect, you guys are the perfect heel team to go against, so and so and so forth." And then they see us in front of the crowd, and they're like, yeah. So I think I'm gonna have y'all guys. Work face."
We had one recently that they brought us in face because of the lack of faces they had at that point. They're like, yeah, we're going to do this. And then, then we'll, move y'all more towards the heel. And then at the end of the night, I go to the guy and I'm like, hey, so about that heel turn stuff. And he goes, yeah, that shit ain't happening.
No, I can see it 100% being a fan favorite gimmick. No doubt about that, man. It's cool. It's, like I said, to me, it's different, man. When I first seen the very first flyer, when y'all first started doing it, I didn't really know what to expect. And then I kind of seen y'all. I seen some OCW stuff. I try to watch it when I can. And dude, it got over with me immediately. I'll be honest with y'all. I thought it was, like I said, it's different. There's a lot of there's a lot of people doing demon gimmicks and this kind of stuff, and I like the idea of old school monsters. You know, I think that's I think that's part of the magic for you guys.
Well, and that's the thing is you've got, like, you look at us, you know, you've got the Warwolf, which you really don't see a gimmick like that anywhere, you
Right.
know, and it works. You've got the big bearded psychopath, because that's pretty much the only way to describe it. And then you've got our gothic punk rock cheerleader, as several fans so called her. So, you know, basically borderline psychopath there as well. 'Cause, I mean, she married me, so I'm like,
Right. I was just fixing to ask Asa how you got into this gimmick, man. How you got hooked up with these guys, but now we know. But girl, talk to us a little bit about modern day monsters and what you think about it.
hopefully this mic works.
You should probably move closer.
Here, let me turn that off. It should be able to pick it up better now.
Well, when they first brought me in, I was injured, so I couldn't wrestle or anything. So they wanted me to come out with them, and so I did. And then, yeah, I got called a punk rock cheerleader, so I just kind of ran with that and amped it up a little bit more. But I love coming out with these guys. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
We wouldn't have it any other way.
Right. And hopefully soon we can get her back in the ring where she can retain her role as what I have termed, and several others, the hardcore queen of Arkansas.
There you go.
She should not knock your dick in.
So let me ask you guys something. Now, the first time I seen you guys, it was just you two guys. Was Asa a part of this from the get-go, or did y'all bring her in after y'all kind of started?
Well, she has actually, you know, we've been running together, you know, because we've been married for 11 years almost now. We're coming on 12.
Oh, she's sitting right beside you, Draven.
Right.
No, I was making sure I did the math right.
Yeah,
But
you'll be on the couch tonight, man.
Now she'll be at work, so no, we started together. We were both trained together. I actually started wrestling about a year and a half before you got to. So yeah, we trained together. We were trained the exact same way. But being, you know how women's wrestling is in Arkansas, it's far and few between.
Right.
And our trainer didn't want to start her out and her just work the same two girls over and over and over and over. So it was a little bit before she got started, but we've been running together, you know, for years. I think there was one little stint where we actually worked against each other for a little bit, but for the most part, we've always been paired up, you know, whether it be, you know, tagging together, coming out together, you know. So, I mean, it was just a given once that she got her work schedule set to where she could come be at the shows and whatnot. It was a given that she was going to be with us, you know?
Yeah, we really didn't give her a choice. We kind of just drug her in. We didn't have to twist her. We didn't have to twist her arm much, but
just walk in and say, "Look, you're on the team." It's simple as that. There it is.
Right.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, look, guys, you mentioned it. Beer 30 over here. You and man, here's something I want to talk to you about, Draven. Cataclysm. Dude, let me tell you something right off the bat, man. When you were with the ASWF at the Valiant Arena, I guess it's probably been, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years ago now. Maybe has it been that long?
No.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something. That was at that time, wrestling was kind of it was kind of like in a stalemate around here almost. But ASWF is one of the shows that I could, if it popped up on YouTube and I got to watching it, I could always watch it. And man, Cataclysm, dude, I loved that, man. That is, I'll be honest with you, it's one of my favorite gimmicks, dude. I thought it was awesome, man. And then when it kind of disappeared, I was like, where'd it go?
Well, literally, like that was my deal from the start. Up until I mean, literally when COVID hit. ASWF, when they do the big college show, what's the college there in Searcy that they always bring in every year? Henderson
Lions
or whatever.
College. Yeah, Henderson. That's it.
Okay, it was the big Henderson show, and it was me and Josh Cross. And what's up, Eric? Josh is actually the one who trained us, and me and him were working together and everything like that. And at the end of the match, his group jumped me and held me, and other members of my group got duct taped to the corner post and didn't even see it, but they didn't know it. Josh took my mask off, which for me was honestly the best thing for me. I did not care for wearing the mask much anymore. Main thing, it crushed my nose, but also I felt like that it opened the door for me for a lot more opportunity, a lot more options to be able to evolve the character and everything like that. So that was the time frame. It was literally there was that show, one more show, and then everything got shut down for COVID. So
dude, I feel you. I feel you 100% on the mask. I started under a mask, and I stayed under it too long, man, because, I mean, you can only go so far under a hood. I mean, you got to be real good at animating with body language, telling your story with your body language instead of your face. But being a hood guy, too, I never talked. My whole promo was a scream. That's all I did. Whoever was with me would do the talking, and I would scream. And man, I'm with you on pulling the mask off. I wish I would have got out from under my hood long before I did, because it allows you, like you said, more opportunities and more personality.
Very much. I have a very expressive face, if you couldn't tell. So,
and Bruce, man, Beer 30, one of my favorite tag teams from around this area. Talk to me a little bit about going from no, dude, you're cool, man. Talk to me a little bit about going from Beer 30 to the Warwolf. Talk to me about that transition.
So, like me and Jack, we had this idea. I believe it was like 2016, 2017. We would be a tag team, and Jack, he's got that Southern accent. And I don't have so much of a Southern accent, but I've got almost, born and raised in Arkansas. By the time Marine Corps, I was here. So we were like, let's tag team. Then, once that happened, and once the fans started giving us feedback, it just kind of turned into a vid.
Bruce, you're real glitchy.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I'm trying to get my hotspot going here. Maybe it'll pull some actual. I usually have really good signal for the most part. Anyways, so we traveled around the Mid-South and interacted with them and I several times, but never really.
That time you sat on my face.
Right.
Right.
You should.
That was like 6 years ago. I can't let him live it down.
So
it was like
Go ahead, Bruce.
No. Go ahead. Like I said, so with the Warwolf, like we were trying to. We had been this bearded, beer drinking, just Southern ass whipping team.
Right.
For several years and got to do several things, and we kind of had an opportunity at a company to kind of pursue our own, personas and characters. And when I originally thought up the War, it was going to be like a classic, like Lonnie Jr. kind of wrestling werewolf. And I'm talking like the full get up. Like I never knew how I was going to logistically do it, but the first thought I had in my mind, was kind of like I spill out of the ring, I roll under the ring, I roll out, I'm howling at the moon, I'm covered in hair, and I'm wrestling. couldn't make it fit, couldn't figure out a
Right.
way to logistically make that happen. So I'm already naturally hairy, and all it took was some theatrics, and the Warwolf was born. I kind of, for the first time in 12 years, or actually at that time it was 11 years, that I'd actually kind of even pulled the curtain back a bit on my shoot life. I started letting people know that was kind of the process, you know, and the way it was described to me was like, look, you're a combat vet, you're a United States Marine, you know, kind of like how Batman uses the suit and the bat to scare his opponents. Like that's kind of the thing that you do. You know, you wear the fangs, you have the eyes, and you do the wolf thing, and that's your thing. You know, the war is there, but the wolf is kind of your spirit animal kind of thing. And so I ran with that for a while, and then when me and Jack eventually, you know, we never officially split up. We just kind of put Beer 30 on the shelf for a little bit, which it's been an extended period of time now that you know I'm part of the Monsters. It is what it is. But we, you know, I had an opportunity to kind of lean heavily further into the Warwolf character, and you know, it's just become a thing.
Man, you guys are everywhere right now, man. It seems like every time I look up and see a flyer pop on Facebook or something, you guys are on it, man.
It's that same picture, me holding his head going.
So yeah, before we move any further, go on and tell me about this sitting on his head story. Run that one by me right quick.
So we were just outside one night. It was kind of dark, and we were taking some promo pics because, you know, Monsters love the dark.
He said talking about the sitting on my face thing.
Oh, that part. Okay,
Jackie threw you on me.
So me and Jack used to have this you know, almost like an atomic drop. Well, instead of the atomic drop ending in a knee to the posterior, he would pick me up and he would drop me as a leg drop onto the opponents. And this one night, like normally he'd pick me up to where he was facing the opponent and he could see where to set me down. Well, this particular match, Beer 30 versus the Menai, he picks me up, but he picks me up on the left side, and Draven's laying, you know, at the time Cataclysm, he was laying on the mat, and he goes to pick me up, and I hear him say, I can't see him. And I said, well, F it, just drop me. And he dropped me, and I landed, I swear to God, like ass to face, dude. It was.
I'm glad he ain't drunk, because otherwise I'd have had pink eye.
And y'all been a tag team ever since, huh?
Well, we were definitely close. I will say
a
that.
lot closer than we wanted to be, and that's shoot.
Yeah, that is a shoot. Yeah, it was just and look, it was just an accident, and so fast forward throughout the years, like we had moved on. The Menai had moved on to do different things, and every so often there would be a comment on Facebook, or somebody would share a picture or a memory, and I would comment. I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that. It was great." And then I would have Cataclysm or Draven, you know, make a comment right below mine or replying to mine. "Oh yeah, I remember that time you sat on my face." And then it just kind of years and years. I'm gonna say probably at this point at least 7 years. It's been
6 or 7,
6 or 7 years.
Damn.
But yeah,
So
he holds on, man.
Yes, he does.
So look, Draven, talk to me about the Menai. Talk to me about going from that to now modern day Monsters and stuff, man.
Well, for me, character wise, it's not a huge difference for me personally. I'm still the same crazy psychopath, just without the mask and a little more, what's the term? A little more raw, I guess you would say, you know, because it's more of an evolved version of me. And I'm getting older, so I can't do a lot of the stuff I used to do.
Right.
But no, originally it was me, Asa, and Deadly Dale. We had been at ASWF. We kind of got thrown together as a tag team, just I guess mainly because they didn't really have a whole lot for us, and it sparked because me and Dale had great chemistry. I mean, similar styles,
right.
you know.
Right.
And we came up with the Manai gimmick. And it evolved over the years. Different members, different people came and went, you know, but it was always me and her. So once we got past the last incarnation, when I was doing more of the cult leader type thing, which
Right.
was a completely different demon from what I am now. Once we got
I
done
actually
with
liked
that
too, man. I kind of forgot about it until you mentioned it, but I remember when you were doing that. I thought that was real cool too.
Oh, I enjoyed it. But I feel like with what we were doing, it ran its course. It was just the next step, the next evolution, which, you know, the prophet, he still wanders around back there every once in a while. But, you know, and it was mainly to help, you know, there was 3 young guys there that it was mainly geared to push them to the next level. That
Right.
was the whole goal. It wasn't for me. It was for them. But once we got past that, and then, you know, when me and Bruce decided that we wanted to make a go of actually tagging, we wanted to step away from what we had done in the past. It was time to do something completely new instead of, you know, rehashing older gimmicks to make them into what we have now. We decided to try to create something new. And actually, the name, I think me and him were messaging back and forth, and I can't remember if it was me or him popped it up just as a joke, like, hey, yeah, I guess we're the modern day monsters now. And it was, I think I did that, and then Bruce was like, dude,
That's
that is
it.
perfect.
Right.
As a joke. And
Right.
it stuck.
And the rest, they say, is history.
So,
but yeah, it really, for me, it wasn't a huge transformation. It was just the next evolution of what I am, you know.
So Asa, they want you back in the ring. They want you in the wrestling ring. Talk to me about maybe getting back in the ring.
I'd love to get back in the ring. It's been 6 months, 7 months now. I know there's going to be a lot of ring rust to knock off, but hopefully we can get somewhere where they can actually use me, whether it's against a woman or a man. I don't really care.
July 20th. I forgot that we got that confirmed today. I'll tell you about it later.
Breaking news: Draven can't whisper.
Right.
Oh, I wasn't whispering.
I know
But
you
yeah,
weren't.
the show hasn't been put out there yet. But yeah, July 20th. All 3 of us are booked.
So the date's set, huh?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we confirmed today.
Yeah.
Girl,
But they haven't started putting it out yet because they still have another show before that one.
So let me ask you this, Bruce. Which one do you have more fun with? Do you have more fun with Warwolf and the modern day monsters, or did you have more fun at being Beer 30?
Man,
Put him on the spot.
look, I'd have to say both but differently, you know, like, don't get me wrong. Like, when I joined the Marine Corps, like, you know, Marines are war fighters and they do all this stuff, but they're also legendary drinkers.
Right.
Many people, I haven't been able to run into many people that can drink as much as Beer 30 did and still perform, let alone walk a straight line. Now I I would.
I've witnessed
There was
that
a rumor.
firsthand.
There was a rumor going around. There was an actual rumor going around that hey, if you book Beer 30, they're going to show up drunk, and that was never the case. But it was. We kind of rolled with it because it kind of fit the gimmick. But no, I look like. Over the years, I've done several different characters and several different gimmicks, and I love every single one of them. And I'm having a blast right now, really just being myself. And I'd have to say separately both, but in different ways.
Yeah,
Because they're completely different demons.
Right.
It's hard to compare.
They're entirely two different. I guess you would say genres.
right.
So like with the modern day monsters, I have an opportunity to explore just the character of the Warwolf and even to a little bit lesser extent who Asa Morta and Draven Morrow is in the group. We each bring 110% to the group, and I would call us a tag team, but there's three of us, so our trio. We have one more that at Hoxie that's representing. So until he's able to move with us, but it's just the experiences are two different experiences, and I love traveling the roads with Draven and Asa, and I loved traveling the roads with JPJ.
Yeah, I kind of expected that answer in a way, because here's the thing. For me, Beer 30 was more of a straightforward pro wrestling team where the Warwolf gives you it creates opportunity to, like you said, explore different avenues with your personality, with your persona, and who you are. And I like them both, but I can see, and I feel like I would like. The Warwolf would be. I feel like to me the Warwolf is a little more fun than Beer 30 for some reason.
And I will agree. Beer 30 was more straight laced. It was more business with a party in the back. We focused heavily on our technical skills and our abilities. And with the monsters, we have an opportunity to just explore the other side of that coin.
Yeah, I understand that, man. I went from being the Hellraiser to a mullet. And dude, I loved it, man. It pulled that hood off. It allowed me to have personality. It was almost like a freedom, man. Like when that hood came off, I was free to do all kind of stuff that I was perimetered in a box in when I had the hood and stuff on.
Right. I was watching I was watching the bumper at the beginning, and dude, I loved watching those classic matches. And it was I saw the transition in you in your in-ring from the wearing the mask, like you said, where you were kind of in a box and you could only perform certain ways, to just seeing just like when figuratively and what's that other word? Figuratively and literally. Yes. Sorry. Letting your hair down, when with the mullet, and just you could just see the difference. And I mean, I'm sure you felt it, and I'm sure the fans could feel it as well.
Right. It just opened doors. First thing, it allowed me to talk. Was a big deal. I could always talk. I could always run my mouth. I just never.
Right.
And here's the thing. I don't know about Draven, but when I first started, a lot of the main reason I put the hood on, it was almost like a security blanket. It was like I'm out there, but I'm not really out there. So if I look stupid, that's the Hellraiser looking stupid. It's not me, And it just freed me up so much, man. It was so much more fun, man.
Mine was an open mouth, so I mean, you could still I was able to talk and stuff like that. I was always better at the video style promos, like recording at the house and whatnot, than I was live promos, because I was able to work more with the environment to make my character pop.
Right.
But definitely that mask is definitely, as you said, a security blanket, and that's why eventually I had to take it off.
Well, here's the one thing about wearing the mask: it will teach you how to use your body to express your emotions, and then when you take that hood off, and you can also verbally and facial expressions with the body expressions. It really helped me a lot, man. Wearing the mask helped me once I pulled it off. You could just, you're used to over exaggerating under the hood, your movements and everything. And if you're mad, they can't see you frowning. So you got to show it with your body. You got to show them that you're mad with your body. And once you pull that hood off, man, and you have learned how to do that, man, it's so much fun. And dude, speaking of the hood, man, I just seen Saturday's show, man. I seen you back under the hood for a little bit, man.
Just there. I am, because it's shorter segments. I don't have to wear it at all. And that's one thing that they really wanted was the mask gimmick, because you don't see that up there. They don't have that type of character, and so it's working for what we're needing to do there. So I'm okay with it, but hopefully that gives me options for an evolution there as well.
You know, it really stands out though now that you say it that way, because I really didn't think about it, but there are no mask guys up there at all. So it really it makes you stand out. And Bruce, man, now you've been there what, 2 years or more now?
Yeah, almost 3 years. Well, 3 years in January. It's only April now.
Go in there a little bit, man.
Right. But yeah, so 3 years. So January will be my anniversary.
So talk to me about the transition, which I they're kind of the same thing from my perspective. The Warwolf to Brother Bruce, man. It's kind of, Brother Bruce seems like he's more of a old school vampire almost style or something, man.
He called you a vampire.
Well, that's what it feels like with the clothes you wear and stuff, man. It feels like that old school Lon Chaney style stuff, like you were talking about.
Right. And look, we were talking about masks earlier. This was one that I wore for years.
That is badass.
This is my sideshow mask. I wore this mask for years. I actually have this mask tattooed on my body. It was a big part of who I was for a long time. The sideshow character.
I did not know that's one reason I love doing this, because I learned something every time. I did not know that was you.
Yeah, that was.
Did not, dude.
I did that for almost. I unmasked shortly before I started Beer 30. Probably like a year and a half before I started. Me and Jack started Beer 30.
Around that area, I remember.
Right. And sorry, go ahead.
No, well, I was just gonna say, see, that's when I was turned on to you. I didn't know you were a sideshow, so it's like Bruce popped out of nowhere. Beer 30 kind of popped out of nowhere, and I'm like, well, who is this dude? I've never seen him nowhere or nothing, but now it makes sense to me, man.
Right. And so like I was saying earlier, when I've done several characters over the years, and I loved every single one of them. When I create a character, I sort of become that character, and I embody that character. And
God,
I hate changing a lot. Well, I say I hate changing a lot, but I'm just, you know how it is with creative people. We're all four of us right here, and everybody probably watching is really creative. So I have to write it down. So when I came up with the sideshow gimmick, I called myself the Indestructible Clown. And for the first probably probably a year and a half to 2 years of that gimmick, I did hardcore matches, and it wasn't until I got with a guy that I believe all of us know, Dirty Little Dave.
Legend around here, man. Legend
Absolutely.
around all here.
He took me under his wing, and me and my tag partner at the time, Slam, and we went all over the Mid-South. And Dave, I wore the mask, and every so often Dave's like, man, why don't you take that mask off? And and when you said it was like a security blanket, that's exactly what it was for me. I felt like I was more Sideshow than I was Bruce. So when I took the mask off, I had no idea who I was. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Who is Bruce without the mask? So I kept Sideshow for years, because when I started reaching out to get bookings, nobody knew who Bruce was, but everybody knew who Sideshow was.
Right.
So
reputation preceded you.
Right. And that was exactly what Dave kind of taught me along the roads, or along the years, was your reputation will precede you. So if you find one that's good, hold on to it. And but this transition to Memphis Wrestling, and the initial or the eventual kind of feel of Brother Bruce was that kind of like a wolf in sheep's clothing. We've never really put it out there what denomination, because we let the fans fill in the blanks. And I think that's the mystique of it. And bringing Cataclysm in it, or Morrow. sorry bringing Morrow in, it's kind of added to that mystique, because
I'm the psychopathic protector of the good Reverend.
Right. You're our ace in the hole. You're our nuke. You're our revelation, so to speak. And so that being said, the creation of that character was almost like an homage to you see the way I carry myself when I come to the ring. It's more of like Dracula when he's walking down the steps in the original Universal Studios Dracula.
Right.
And
that's what I seen. I said vampire, but I was mean. That's what I meant.
No. I knew what you meant. Yeah, I knew what you meant. No, like, see, I wrestled Gangrel. Say, like, me and David, we each have a match against Gangrel.
I won mine.
Right. I unfortunately, look, we would have found out who the werewolf whose hand would have been raised at the end of that match if Cruel hadn't have interfered and choke slammed me into that coffin. But
I won my match.
Hey, we know wins and losses don't matter in wrestling, man. Come on.
Don't tell Bruce that.
Look, guys, for both of y'all, Bruce, you've been there the longest. Was Memphis Wrestling your first taste of TV, or had you done some TV before?
No, so me and Jack, we actually worked for Tattoo, Marvel Elite Wrestling. They were on television back in 2018 or 2019. And it was a local digital channel, and
right.
The experience was what I took away from it the most. The boys in the back, all of them were all. You always want a locker room that's all centrally focused, or they're all of their thoughts are to make the show the best it can be, right. And every single one of those guys that worked for Marvel Elite was singularly focused on making Marvel Elite a really good Memphis produced television show. And that ran its course, and then me and Jack, we started doing a bunch of traveling, and so that was always in the back of my head. And then when I got the call that they wanted me to come in, I was like, oh, cool, and they were talking to me about camera angles and placements and stuff like that, and
right.
it kind of just all synced. Luckily, with Dave taking me under his wing, I also had the added bonus of Sarge O'Reilly. And he had done quite a bit of stuff for USWA, and so for his teaching was really just camera choreography and things that I was polishing up some kind of ugly things that I was doing to make them look better.
Right. So,
But yeah, so
go ahead, Bruce.
No. So making it to the transition to television was a lot easier. Really,
Draven, is this your first taste of TV, or have you done some TV before?
No, this is 100% first time. I mean, most of the shows, nearly every show I've worked for has had, like camera set up, for the recordings and whatnot, or I'd set my own camera up. But like actual TV style
working
stuff, yeah, this is my first time. This is my first time because it's been weird because I'm so used to focusing on the crowd. And now you do acknowledge them, but you got to focus that to the cameras and all. And that's honestly I think that's been a little bit the more difficult thing I've had to learn with it, and getting out of my own nerves as well.
Right, man, I understand that fully. Here's the thing: if you're used to working regular shows, front of crowds, especially if you've been working a pretty good while and you've never had any TV experience, and then you get to TV, it can be hectic. It can be a little nerve-wracking, trying to figure this stuff out. The first thing I was taught was, if you don't know nothing else, go find the hard camera. Make sure you know where the hard camera is at least. But dude, I'm with you fully on that, man. Talk to me about, was you nervous the very first time, or what? How nervous were you?
Yeah. Hold on just a second.
Oh, I'll answer that.
She's got to go to work, so.
Okay.
Oh, gross.
I appreciate you coming on, girl.
Thank you.
Asa, love you. See you.
Love you too.
I'll see you in the morning.
Oh.
Now, how the modern day monster, Draven Morrow, gonna be giving kisses on the podcast, man, for everybody to see, huh?
Hey, even monsters need love too.
This is true.
They need the most, man.
Right. So for me, it was nerve-wracking. I wanted to make sure that I did everything right, because you don't have a second take. Just like with your live events, you don't have a second take. So you got to make sure that you're thinking about everything that you've got to do, and hitting that hard cam and hitting those roving cameras just right, getting your times. And it was definitely one of the first experiences that I had with a mic'd up ref, which, oh my gosh, if you don't, and I'll put this out for any promoters that may be watching, if you have the opportunity to get a decent set of mics for your referees, please do that. It will make your show run 20,000 times smoother.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and like for me, I was over the top nervous. I've dealt since, even for most of my life, but especially wrestling wise, I've dealt with confidence issues, and I was way in my head the first show that I was part of. And everything like that, and very nervous about hitting my time and hitting my spot and everything like that, because I wasn't even coming from the locker room. I came from the lobby. So,
so he didn't have anybody telling him, when and where and what.
Put him out the door now. Go.
Right. It wasn't anything of that. So, but luckily, like they're pushing me pretty hard with this. Like I've interacted with some of their top baby faces up there doing this, but I've literally done like one thing per time I've been on the show, so it's a build into it. I've yet to do an actual individual full-blown match up there, so that's where the test will be once that happens.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. I like the fact that you said that, and they're kind of taking it a little slow with you, because once they see that your confidence is where they want it at and where it needs to be, and you fully got the hang of it, man, they can put you out there without worrying that. Because here's the thing, like you said, you've really been laying some guys down. I seen you lay Gun Show down this past week, man. So
Right.
and Gun Show's like you said, top baby faces there. So they're investing in you, dude. So
Yeah.
what
You
you
know what?
don't want to.
I'd really like to see him go after Toomer, because the Righteous Path could use a Heritage Championship on our collection plate. I'm just throwing that out there.
And I'll be honest with you, dude. You're talking about nervous, man. When I first started, I call it stage fright.
Right.
But you get in, like you said, you get in your own head. You are the guy who makes you more nervous than anything else, man. I was the same
Very
way,
much so.
dude. When I first started, I pulled up the shows ready to work and drove off. No shit, it took me a little while to conquer that stage fright. It's a real
Right.
thing out there, man.
Well, going from, let's say a regular indie show, anywhere from 50 to 100, sometimes more, it's easier to navigate a show like that and a match like that, where you're out there for 10 to 15 minutes.
Right.
When you're, when you're on TV, millions of people are watching. And
you got to hit those times too.
Right.
You ain't got 15 minutes to build the match. You know what I mean?
Right. It's got to be
You're
one
good if you got 5 minutes.
It's got to be one and done. And
right.
So those nerves. Sorry.
No, you're good. We're good. Go ahead,
those nerves were there for me as well. And to this day, 2 years in, I still get nervous. Whenever they tell me, hey, you're doing this today, I'm just like, oh gosh.
Well,
okay.
That's one thing that me and Bruce have talked in length about, is we both deal with the inferiority complex and what's termed imposter syndrome. You don't feel like you deserve what you're receiving. We've both dealt with that for years. But I was talking to, I'm not going to name names on this, but I was talking to somebody the other day, and they straight up said they are loving this tag team stuff that we're doing. Not only because of the gimmick itself, but because, in their exact words, it's lit a fire under Bruce's ass, and it has helped me. It has made my confidence go up.
Right.
And it really has, seeing what we have done as a group. And like, we had one day, it was a Saturday, and we were already booked on an afternoon show, and we were booked that night, and I had like 3 other companies messaging trying to get us there for that night. I mean, I never thought it would be that way with me, at least. I never saw that type of stuff happening.
Right. No, I feel like y'all are probably one of the most sought after teams around here right now, dude. Like I said, every time I turn around, you guys are on a new flyer in a new place, man. Y'all are all over the place. You got Jamie J's show coming up May 4th.
Yep.
It's in Wynn. Last time he had,
and there was a battle for us for that night too.
Right. See, and to kind of, I guess, to kind of let in a little backstage stuff, like Jamie hit us up, and we were like, yeah, we'll do it. We're open that day. And then less than an hour later, another promoter contacted us, and we had to say, hey man, sorry, we just we already booked with him, and it's just one of those things, like we hope that what we're doing is worth a damn and entertaining, and from our inbox it is.
Well, and on top of that, though, it's not just what we're doing. It's like that. We're not coming in with egos. We're not
Right,
coming in.
right.
Oh, we got to win. We got to win tonight. No, we're here to do whatever's best for the show. We don't give a crap about, if you got to, literally a couple weeks ago at Gladiator, we're set up for a tag match. Literally, we do a brawl. 3 minutes worth of stuff is all we did that night. And it's like, I don't give a crap. It's whatever to help push for the next event. Hey, I'm down,
Right. And
Right.
here's the thing.
I got hit with a jug of tea.
It sucks to have to turn down. Ain't nothing worse than when you take a booking and then another promoter calls and you gotta say you gotta turn them down. But here's the thing: they have to respect that. It's better. Here's what a lot of people do. A lot of people will go on and take that booking and be double booked, knowing dang well they're going to miss one of those shows.
Well,
right.
The bad thing was, though, is these two shows are in close proximity to each other. So we probably could have done it. But I didn't want to take that chance of, okay, well, this person has to rearrange their card, and then they got to rearrange it so we can make it work. I didn't want to be, make them have to do that kind of stuff. Even though both shows were putting out, like, we were going to do this, and this show said they wanted us for this. They were like, man, I want to do both.
Right.
Well, the thing is, like, me and Draven, we both have kind of histories of running shows, and we know what it's like when a talent says, "Hey, man, I'm booked, an hour out, and I'll be at your show, but can you bump me back?" And you're like, "Well, I already had the format for the show. I want to use you. I want to work with you, but I just can't. I just can't this time."
I don't want to be responsible for that.
Right.
And here's the thing: being a booker or promoting your own show will give you the utmost respect. Once you do that, and you've had guys do that to you, most of the time you'll never do that to another promoter again. It's better to just tell them straight up, dude. If you'd have called me 25 minutes ago, man, but I just committed to a booking. I wish I could make it, but I can't. They have to respect that, man. You don't burn no bridges that way, and that door's probably always open to you,
Right. And I've had guys, and I've had guys tell me, several times, like, "Hey, man, thanks for being honest. You didn't blow smoke up my ass. I definitely want to use you. I'm putting a show together on this date. Once you get back home, let me know if you can make it." And like you said, the door is open. And I tell guys all the time, if one thing that we are, we're professional wrestlers. Professionalism leads. So always lead with professionalism, and 90% of the time it'll treat you right.
Right, man. It's I don't see it as much now. Now there's so many shows in certain areas that a lot of guys will just, if they don't like something, they're told. Even if, hey, you're going to lose tonight, these guys will walk right out and go to the show 15 miles up the road, and that show will put them to work. And here's the thing. Used to, there wasn't shows like that, and you walk out on one promoter back in the day, he'll make a phone call to the other promoters he knows and say, "Hey, if this guy comes wanting to work, don't work him, or I wouldn't work him. Here's what he did to me." And it's wrestling business. It can be shady and dirty, but at the heart of it, the professionals, it's built on respect. It's built on your word, doing what you say you're going to do. If you commit to something, unless it's something, emergencies happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you just the booking because you want to take another booking, and here's the thing: a lot of times you're able to get a booking that you commit to, and then you get a call, like you said, a call 30 minutes later that promoter is actually going to pay you more than this promoter that you've committed to, and a lot of guys will immediately, just either call that promoter back and say, "Look, man, I was mistaken. I got something on that date," and go to the other show where that's unprofessional too. If you commit to a guy for something, go keep your commitment. That's how you build your resume in pro wrestling.
Right.
That's how guys want to use you.
And in 15 years, man, you know, I'm so glad that I had Dave to kind of take me under his wing and let me sit under the shade tree, because I learned so much about the old school way of doing things that I can't do anything else now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's the way it is. It's the way it should be, and that's how I teach. You know, when I do teach people, you know, I remind them that, like, you know, don't don't step on the toes that may be attached to the ass you got to kiss at tomorrow.
Right.
You know, like you said, you know, if you commit, it doesn't matter if the guy's willing to pay you, you know, an ungodly amount of money. You know, you made a commitment. You're only as good as your word.
Right. And here's the thing. I have seen guys, say a guy, you get a call from a promoter that is, like you said, going to pay you an ungodly amount of money. You know, a lot of times, if you're really cool with the other promoter, you can call them and say, "Hey, man, look here," but lay the truth out there to them. Look, man, I just got this call. Here's what they're offering me to come, man. It's a lot of money. You know, what's your thoughts? And then if the promoter, a lot of times promoters like that, look, a good promoter is not going to let you turn down that kind of money. You know what I mean?
Or a good opportunity.
Right.
I had one years ago when we were doing our bar shows. I had a guy out of Tennessee book. I'm not going to put no names out there, but he called me. He was like, "Man, I got this opportunity to go work for GCW, you know." And at the time, that's where AEW was finding a lot of their guys was at GCW.
Right.
And he was like, "Man, I don't know what to do." I was like, "If you don't take your ass to that GCW show, I'm going to kick your ass. All right. You're unbooked. Go away."
Right.
You know? But that's the thing, though, is if it's an opportunity to grow your career, then that promoter should not try to hinder you at all, you know. So there is a fine line on that, but the certain situations do arise to where you have to go with the best opportunity, you know.
And at the end of the day, if you are going to take that, no matter what the commitment if you're going to do away with the commitment you already made and going to take this really no matter what, be honest with the promoter.
Exactly.
At least call him and tell him, "Look, man, tell him the truth." Just like I said, right after you called me, this guy called me. He's offering me this much. I can't turn it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need this money. This is money. It's going to help make my living, help feed my family. Just be honest with the promoters. They have to respect honesty. What you don't respect is a guy lie to you to your face or on the phone, and then you know how the wrestling business is. Y'all got two shows running at the exact same time, 30 miles apart. Before that show over here even starts, if the dude over there, you already know he's over there before either one of the shows starts. So you know he just blatantly lied to you. And that's how you burn bridges. That's the easiest way in the world in the wrestling business to burn bridges, man.
This day and age, it as you were saying a while ago, it's harder to be blackballed than it used to be because there's so many different shows running nowadays. But there are a lot of us that still talk. Me and Bruce have both ran into situations to where a promoter's calling us because some kid has given our name out as a trainer or a reference or something like that. And it can affect you in certain ways to where you only end up working the shows where you're not going to make any money. You're not going to get any kind of exposure. You're not going to really even get a good match.
You're going to be a punching bag.
You're working with other guys that nobody else wants to use. We know never mind. I'm not even going to go into that. But I feel like me and Bruce, we both have garnered a good reputation with what we do. I mean, I know I haven't been doing it as long as a lot of people think I have. I've only been doing this 9 years. I came in at an older age. I came in with a different thought process, different
much older age.
Shut up. But I think that helped me in general because I remember the day I felt like I belonged outside of ASWF. I'm standing at a car talking in a conversation with Enforcer Jim Chitty, Dirty Little Dave, Reggie Montgomery, Max Mayhem, and Jimmy Valiant. And I'm standing there and they're talking to me like I've been doing this for years. I'm just like, yeah, I'm in, baby.
There
I'm
you
in.
go. I made it. I made it. Yeah, man. I understand that fully, man. Well, look, you guys, man, we're on my podcast, but man, you guys have your own podcast, and you don't just have one. Y'all kind of have a whole network of podcasts, right?
Oh yeah,
Right.
We call it SDU Networks. It spans Special Dummies Unit because we're just a bunch of idiots. It's a play off of SVU because me and Fred like to watch Law and Order. But yeah, I actually, me and Fred started that just goofing off, you know, because my wife works night shift and we were bored one night, and I was like, hey, let's just do a live stream.
Right.
And excuse me. It just kind of grew from there. We've got every Thursday at 8:15 we do Special Dummies Unit, which is myself, Fred, Bruce is on there now, and my friend Roland. And we just get on there and talk about the most random stuff you can think of.
Yeah, we put it on a little bit. We put it on a little bit later because some of the segments can get kind of risque.
It's not kid friendly. I will put that out there. And then there's not a set time frame, but I randomly do for shoots and giggles. It's a like little interview thing, wrestling interview thing. I've interviewed like Deadly Dale.
I seen the one with I actually seen Dale's, and I seen you. Did you not have Toomer on here recently?
Well, he's been on SDU.
Okay,
he just
seen
comes
him
on
one
there.
of y'all's things.
I have him scheduled to do shoots and giggles. We haven't got to it yet. I've actually got about 15 people lined up, which is crazy because I wasn't expecting that. But like I've done Dale, Phil, Idlebain.
I seen some of Phil's too. I usually end up catching y'all stuff at almost either in the middle of it or at the end because sometimes we overlap. Like I told y'all before we went on the air, I always say I'm gonna get these things done within an hour and a half, but sometimes usually that never ever happens like that. So time I get through and then I get done with all the stuff I got to do once I do this, and I'm scrolling through Facebook, man. I catch it at the end or almost the end, man.
We catch a lot of our watches like on rewatch. Like I do the
on our outside stuff, outside of the normal Special Dummies unit. We get a lot of rewatches on the other stuff. Go ahead, Bruce.
So I do a wrestling with ADHD and Bruce. It's been few and far between here lately because I've actually I was every other week, and I blasted through probably 10 or 11 people.
Yeah, I think.
And then I kind of washed up a little bit. My last one was with Phil. So
yeah. And then we also, me, Bruce, and Roland do cryptids and creepy stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna ask y'all about that one, man. I've caught some of that too. Like I said, I don't think I've ever caught a whole show, but I've caught enough of it to I dig that show, man. I dig it fits y'all anyway. It fits with y'all's whole modern day monster thing, man.
Right.
And like I said, I am a monster fan and a horror fan and anything creepy, kooky. Always have been. I love that, dude. I think that's really cool.
I am too. Bedroom. That's the Jason and Freddy thing. I got Michael Myers on my back. I got Phantasm. I got Necronomicon. Yeah, trust me, I get it. No,
man, since I was a kid, dude.
We were doing it every other week, and we kind of burned through Arkansas. So we're taking a little hiatus on it right now to start getting prepared to move to the next state, which I think we've decided. We just haven't got cranking on it yet.
Right.
Because Bruce is the researcher extraordinaire on that stuff. So.
Little breaking news. I'm almost through with the research for it. So I'll be disseminating that to the group before too long.
Well, Bruce, talk to me a minute about your wrestling with ADHD, man. Talk to me about that, because I when I first seen that, man, I kind of stole that from you with my wrestling with weed. Truthfully, I'm pretty sure I did. I seen the wrestling with ADHD, man. I seen the logo and stuff, and then I was trying to figure out how to do the wrestling with weed show, man. And
right.
I thought, well, damn,
hey,
it just matches, dude.
Right. And so
a little bit of gimmick infringement right there, my friend.
Hey, it's all good. So I was diagnosed with ADHD as a young kid, and it definitely made wrestling interesting because of the hyper focus and the attention to detail and stuff like that. But also
it makes it interesting being friends with Bruce.
But also because of the the different the distractions and the stuff like that. So I figured I wasn't the only one, and then I started looking into it, and I actually had this idea several years ago, and I talked to a couple of guys about it, and I talked to a guy from Memphis, Maurice the Strong. I talked to him, and I talked to David about it, and David's like, well, I've got this podcast, and there's enough room for another. So I was like, holy crap, that's super cool. But I started doing research on it, and a lot of guys, Joey Janela, John Moxley, to name a few, those guys have ADHD as well. And just reading some of their and listening to some of their, podcasts behind it, or shoot interviews and stuff like that, it kind of made me realize that, there's a lot more people than what I thought. I knew that there was a lot of people that had ADHD, but in the wrestling business, referees,
Right.
timekeepers, announcers, wrestlers, just managers, just, everybody that I can think of, that you could think of, that has a job in the wrestling business, there's at least, one person that has ADHD. So I wanted to kind of destigmatize that to a certain extent, and let people know that there's ways to deal with it if you don't have medication, or you don't take medication. There's
Right.
ways to cope with it, and all of us are kooky and weird, and there is no normal. So,
Dude, there ADHD wasn't even a thing when I was a kid, but I feel like I probably had it for sure, and probably still have it to a certain extent, but it just wasn't. That ain't what they called it, or it wasn't even a thing when I was a kid,
Right.
And let me ask you this: does it, especially in the wrestling business, man, with ADHD, does it cause you to overthink things?
Oh, for sure.
Understatement.
So David's laughing right now, but look, that's 100% facts. Down to the slightest thing, like the way I lace my boots when I'm wearing wrestling boots. Man, that feels weird. Is that weird? Does that look weird? That's not weird. I'm gonna take these boots off. I got
the
another
fur.
pair.
The fur on your boots that you had
Right.
that one day. God dang.
So tell me about the fur on your boots,
Well,
man.
okay,
I gotta hear this.
So on my vest, I all of my gear, I make all of my gear because my thought process behind that is, a werewolf wouldn't reach out to just anybody that they, to a perfect stranger, to have them create something that they could wear, when they transform. So they would probably do it themselves. So I've got this fur on my vest, and I was like, man, I got all this extra fur. Maybe I could put it on and like lace it into my boots, or lace it, onto my gear. And I put it on, and I got everything looking good, I thought. And I get dressed, and like I always do, David, does this look okay? And he's like, well, and I'm like, I knew it. I'm gonna go ahead and take it off. He's like, I didn't say that.
It was only the neon green laces.
Right. He's like, I didn't say take it off. The neon green laces just kind of was weird, and it didn't jive with everything else. And so I in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to take these off. I don't have my extra set of laces in my bag, so I'm just going to take them off. And he's like, well, you know, I get them taken off, and I don't announce this. I just like, I'm going to go take them off, to, you know.
Right.
So I walk away, and then I come back, and David's like, where's the fur? And I was like, I took it off. You said the laces were too bright. So that was just you know, completely over
honest.
No, and I appreciate him for it. You know, I would much rather get it from him than to hear it from, you know, 50 to 100 screaming fans. God, that looks awful.
And you know, here's the thing. Do you think maybe having ADHD creatively, do you think maybe it might help in the wrestling business? Because like you said, all those little details, man, a lot of time people, here's the thing people don't understand about when you're telling stories in the wrestling business, it ain't always the big thing that puts the story over. It's them little tiny subconscious things, them seeds you plant in people's heads.
It's things that people wouldn't even realize. You know, the way you move your hand, the way you make a facial expression, the slightest little, like you said, the slightest little detail is generally what the big stuff are like, you know, periods to the sentence or the end of a chapter, you know, but the little things, you know, like you read any chapter and there's, you know, so many intricate details in the chapter that's describing how somebody got out of a car or how they looked when they walked down the stairs, or, you know, just little things. And I will admit that I believe that ADHD is almost a superpower in that light, where you can focus on the little details that somebody wouldn't notice. Because I've had several instances where we're discussing a match or even a storyline, and I say, well, what about this part here? And they're like, well, I didn't even think about that. And I was like, the fan might.
Right, exactly. See, to me, wrestling's a lot of subconscious thing. It's a lot of planting seeds in people's heads and letting them, like you said earlier on, we didn't tell them this stuff. We kind of let them make up their own idea or make up their own mind how I got to this point or whatever.
Right.
Wrestling's a lot of subconscious, and that's one thing that I think we need to really go back on. I think that's one thing Memphis wrestling does maybe better than anybody else around here, telling their stories.
Oh, for sure, traditionally, because I grew up watching Memphis wrestling, and you know, when we could afford a pay-per-view, you know, sitting around with my mom and dad and everybody watching, you know, WWE stuff. But, you know, those stories that were told throughout the years, like the feud with Lawler and Dundee, you know, there was so many intricate little things in there that you know, true wrestling fans picked up on, and even you know, that's why they say, you know, the old school is still relevant.
Yeah, man, storytelling, that to me, that's what wrestling, psychology in general, wrestling's all psychology.
Right.
From start to finish, it's all psychology, period, man. That's what it's based on. That's what it was built around. Tapping into emotions.
Have that in any style as well.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, it's the age old.
Anywhere, I don't care if you're in England, I don't care where you are. It still all should be based on psychology.
Several years ago, I said it best. I was teaching a group of guys, and I said, "Look, one of these days they're gonna tell us that they have found life, you know, billions and billions of light years away on a random planet, and I can almost guarantee they're gonna have wrestling, and it's gonna be done. It's gonna be done exactly how we're doing it."
Right, dude, I feel the same way, man. To me, like, have you seen the thing on Facebook over in Africa or somewhere where the guys are in the mud, just in the dirt, and they've been doing it there so long they done created this little, almost like a mud hole, but without mud, really.
Right.
Man, wrestling is like music. To me, pro wrestling is like music. It's something we all understand. Right.
It's universal.
Right,
it's the age old struggle between good and evil. You know what I'm saying? Like who's gonna win? You know, sometimes evil takes over.
As my dad always put it, the working man soap opera.
Well, it is, man. hell, I had the word on the tip of my tongue. It's like you said, it's the universal language. It's all based on natural human emotion. The best wrestling is based on 3 o'clock high, stuff like that. You take something and you start in the morning, you get into an argument in the morning, and then by lunch, everybody else has done built this thing into something way bigger than the two people that was at first involved in it. Even made it themselves, and then by the time 3 o'clock, everybody's there waiting to see what's going to happen. And most of the time, both of the guys are like, man, this really got out of hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we gotta fight now. You know?
Right.
Well, and that's like a lot of times when we're working with some of the younger guys and everything like that, we tell them, hey, what you're doing here works here. There's your psychology with this. It works here. But if you go up to the Northeast or down to Florida or something like that, you have to look at that audience. What attracts that audience in?
Right.
And that's where you have to learn the different styles and whatnot. But it's the same thing. You're tapping into that emotion of what that group in that area feels. You have to be able to.
If you look at some of the best storylines and some of the best, like if you even go back even further than that, I like to do the analogy of the Greco-Roman wrestlers, in the Colosseums with the Caesars. You had your top, you had your top baby face and you had your top heel, and everything led up to seeing for your your citizens seeing those two guys go against each other.
Right.
And like with it became emotional, and if you look at songs throughout the years, and if you look at championship, any sport games, you have your good and your evil. Well, I didn't want to go through the list.
The way you said that.
Right.
Games.
You have your.
I apologize. Every episode of anything that we're on is the Roast Bruce episode.
You always got to be the butt of the joke, huh?
Right.
Well, Fred's not here, so.
But no, it's you're right. It's a universal language. It's an emotional roller coaster. And if you look at 90% of everything, even in regular day-to-day life, it's a struggle between good winning out or bad winning out. And if you can elicit an emotional response, then that's magic,
Right, man. To me, truthfully, and this may sound stupid. Y'all being wrestlers probably won't. To the casual person probably will. It's really, to me, it's the purest form of entertainment. Honestly, man, it is. I mean, it just really is, man. It is.
Well, if you've sat in a crowd or you stood in a ring, when you have that subconscious and emotional bond with somebody, when you look at a guy and you see him just getting completely railroaded and backhanded, that emotional response is there to see that guy, prevail. And I guess my brain will not allow me to explain it any further than, it's an emotional connection that wrestlers and fans and the sport in general, has, and that's why it's enduring. And that's why, I believe that, like I said, billions of light years away, they're probably doing it over there too.
I believe
well, and that's
too,
what I love about it too, though. What it always attracted me is you're not going to get the same thing throughout the entire show. It's legitimately a variety show.
A variety
Right.
show, exactly.
So, like, say if you got a show, the first match are the two fast guys to set the pace for the night. They're speeding through there, hitting all these quick hot spots and whatnot. And then you get to your next card. Or here's your technical masterpiece, where the two Kurt Angle style guys are just going at it hold for hold, but they can still draw that emotion in. then you throw in your comedy shtick, and Bruce knows all about that. But then you get, you got your hardcore guys, and then you got your powerhouses, and then you got your big little, get David and Goliath. I mean, there's so many variations that you can put together. It can always be something that's ever evolving to where you can always find something to enjoy, whether you're seeing the same guys or not.
Right, Bruce, you're not a comedy guy in wrestling.
Very rarely. And that goes, like you said, Beer 30 was more of the technical, classically booked tag teams. I believe that there's room for it. I'm just not a super huge fan of it in abundance.
Uno reverse card.
Here's the thing, man, about comedy.
Well, look, that's I guess that's my silliness coming out. So I know if you've seen the Beetle Bruce character that I've portrayed a few times.
I've seen it a couple times. Okay,
I've gotten so many messages from guys that I've earned their respect, messaging me. Man, what is this that you're doing? This isn't, you're a technical wrestler, dude. Like, what are you? Charisma. I love you, Jack. You're a technical wrestler. What are you doing? This is, you're making a joke. This is the invisible grenade all over again. And
Right.
I'm like, guys,
I love it.
Don't get me wrong. I do too, but in moderation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Here's my theory. Go ahead, Bruce.
No, that's it. In moderation, look, everything has its place, and in moderation, even comedy spots are,
if they're done right,
relevant. If they're done right, they're great.
Look at Danhausen.
Right. Here's the thing I like about comedy. Now, when I was young and breaking in, I was kind of the same way. I was more of a serious action. I really wasn't into it. It wasn't that I was opposed to it. I just hadn't. I don't guess I had learned its value in wrestling at that point. And here's the thing. I like comedy for a palate cleanser. Say you're going to do something real violent. Say somebody's going to get some color. You're going to beat the crap out of somebody. It's going to be real violent. Well, sometimes maybe before you do that, you put that comedy out there because that brings these fans up. It loosens them up. Then when you hit them with that violence, it's shocking to them.
Right.
Where if you gave them a match right before that match that was a little violent too, just not as violent as what you want to give them, it's kind of the same stuff. But you hit them with that comedy palate cleanser before that, and then it pulls them out of that serious mode. The fans, it makes them lighthearted. They're laughing, they're joking. That way, you get the full impact of what you're fixing to do. For me, that's where I found. That's where I found the most value in comedy. I love it, dude. I love all kind of. There ain't really no wrestling I don't like. The only kind of wrestling I don't like, shitty wrestling. I mean, honestly, truthfully.
And I think that's everybody in general. And I've been part of some I've been part of some shitty wrestling before.
I'm sorry.
It's not you. It happens. But no, like Jack said, working comedy is always good, and it does sell.
Right.
It's like you said, it is a palate cleanser. In moderation, used properly, it definitely is a valued part of professional wrestling. And I think without knowing at the time, that's actually the way I described this whole Beetle Bruce thing. You put him in the middle of a show, or you put him right before something brutal. The fans get up, they get lighthearted, they get ready to have a good time, and then you kick the chair out from under them.
Right, exactly. And here it goes back to what Draven said. It's a variety show too. You kind of got, here's the thing. You don't want your whole card to be matches that are pretty much all so similar to each other that they might as well be one long match.
Right.
You got to give. One fan comes to wrestling because they love to laugh and have fun. Another one comes because they want to see 5-star matches. Another one comes because they want to see brutality. They want to see guys fight. And
Right.
you gotta mix that up. That way you can
Well-
give them everybody something, you know.
Right. And I, this just popped into my head, randomness, but you may have that fan, like you said, that maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they had a little bit too much, maybe they had a little bit too much in their hardcore, or too much hardcore in their day. And they want that lighthearted, boost of, oh my gosh, wrestling is funny. And then they're like, once they get that, they're like, okay, now I could use then I could use a little bit of technical. I want to come watch wrestling. That all of those could be balled up into one person, and we don't know because we don't have those interactions with the fans. We just have to fit it into a format that works for everyone.
Right. Yeah, it's I mean, here's the thing about wrestling, man. If you do wrestling the way it's supposed to be done, you can pretty much get anything over. I mean, you can, man. We've all loved some of the most far-fetched things in pro wrestling. Sometimes it's your favorite thing. It could be so far-fetched out there in left field that there's no possible way it could ever happen or be true.
Right.
But it's just part of it, and that goes back to psychology. No matter what you're doing, you've got to use logic putting it together so the fans can follow you.
I tell people this all the time. This is a mainstay in probably 90% of the promos that I do is the Warwolf. You may not believe werewolves are real, but I'll make you believe I'm real. And the whole thing with Beetle Bruce, I wrestled a whole match. I wrestled a whole match with a voodoo doll. I think I maybe touched my opponent one time, and it just worked.
Right.
I did a match. I did a match as Beetle Bruce where I was on the mat and my opponent was getting ready to give me a move. I pulled out a giant Uno reverse card, and while he was arguing with the ref if that was legal or not, I set up to take the move I set up to give the move to him that he was going to give to me. And when it was done, it was just like, done right. It just worked. There was there was enough suspension of belief at that point that we had built that it just worked.
It was hilarious.
And see, that goes back to, like you said, I can't make them believe wrestling's real, but I can make them believe I'm real. The thing people need to understand.
Oh, classic saying.
What draws people to pro wrestling? It's not the pro wrestling. It is the characters doing the pro wrestling, man. It's the personas. It's the people. That's who you invest in. Once a fan invests in you, then pretty much you can do anything. You can go from comedy to killing somebody, and they will be right there with you. But it's based on them connecting with your persona, who you are.
Man, when I was doing the whole cult thing at Hoxie, like I had a friend of mine out in the crowd passing out flyers and stuff and everything, and I legitimately had people asking me if I was trying to start my own religion. Like they like these people are messaging my shoot page, like, dude, are you trying to start your own religion or something? What's going on here?
Well, it fits you though, man. It fits you perfectly. I love that thing, dude. I thought it was cool. I really wanted to see how big the cult would get, man.
Well, when it's a smaller show, it's kind of hard to pull in too many people because I felt like I had the 3 guys with me, and I didn't want to grow any farther than that because I felt like it would take away from the show. You know, because you limit the matches you can do with that, because you got half your roster in one faction, it's just not going to work.
Classic NWO.
Exactly.
Just too
Overkill.
big, too much. Overkill, man. If they would have left that alone with Hogan, Savage, and Nash for they probably could have got 2 years out of just those 3.
Oh yeah, just solid.
Without adding anybody, and the whole gimmick would have had a longer run. What did the NWO actually run? About 5 years, if that.
It was
freaking Jack.
Oh well, look.
Hey, I appreciate that's how I got my certifications in.
There you go, man.
Look, Jack
Got 'em
is
on the
an
wall.
encyclopedia.
I love Jack, man. Honestly, like after my first run at MACW, when I first started trying to hit other places, one of the first guys outside of the core group I was working with that I got to work a match with, that was a fun time, you know. And to see how much that dude has grown as a
Right,
wrestler and
right.
everything like that has been
Really super proud of
amazing to
him.
see. Very proud of him.
Right. Speaking of him, man, he just made his debut for OVW.
Yep.
Really cool.
Yep.
Man, really cool. He'd been at World League Wrestling for a while, but man, really cool to see him on OVW.
Yeah,
Man.
most
Absolutely.
definitely. Most
I made a
definitely.
point to search that damn thing down just to watch it, man.
I haven't
Right,
had a
right.
chance to watch it yet. I didn't realize it was actually out yet, so that I'll have to go look for it now.
I'm glad for Jack, because here's the thing. You can get stuck around here.
Right.
It's real easy. You can have all the talent and all the potential to be a huge superstar, but if you get too complacent, especially around this area, because there's so much wrestling, especially you go back 20 years, 25 years, when you still had that lineage that had always been there,
Right.
you can get complacent here and stay here, and sometimes that's not good for you. I'm glad that Jack finally branched on out and finally getting those opportunities. You need to get out, man. Here's the thing. I mean, it's hard to get noticed around here, right? It just is. It's hard to get noticed around here.
Right.
And a lot of times, look, when WWE came in 2000 and Terry Golden got the developmental deal, all the boys were thinking, good, man, maybe we will get some developmental contracts. When in actuality, when you really think about it, why are they going to pay you to work somewhere you're already working? They can just let you work, and if you develop to where they want you, then they can just sign you, you know. But
Right.
you could take that same talent and go somewhere else away from this part of the country and get noticed real easy. They could see a whole different person somewhere else. You put yourself in a different environment, man.
And sometimes it's just 6 to 8 hours out of your area.
Right.
Well, and that's a lot of the reason why me and Bruce this year have, we started trying to move around and work in different shows and stuff like that. Because personally, I felt like that.
That's true.
It is, man.
Yeah. But
we're badly oversaturated.
Dude, we had to go all the way to Hutchinson, Kansas, and then COVID hit. And Jack was already already getting his feet wet in other bigger promotions and starting to get noticed. And then COVID hit, and then it kind of just, everything just stopped.
Right. COVID put everything. I mean, it just paused everything.
Right. But yeah, and I don't know if you know this or not, but Jack's my actual shoot brother-in-law.
I didn't know that for sure. I'd heard that, but I didn't know 100% for sure. Y'all tell me this: y'all get on each other's nerves in some of them car rides, man.
Dude, honestly, no. Like, I don't know. Dude, the farthest we traveled was I think it was like 9.5 hours, and we had so much in common with it when at the time, and even now, with wrestling in general and Beer 30. Knee surgery with me, then COVID, then his surgery. But yeah, that pretty much put a halt to a lot of the things that we were planning. But no, I don't. There may have been some times that it was just like, oh, thank God I'm out of this car, but not necessarily, not
Just
necessarily,
up, Bruce.
not necessarily because of the company.
Right. So, Draven, you were going to say something, man, and kind of got cut off, dude.
Oh, no, you're fine. All I was saying is that's the reason why we kind of put our feelers out to try to move around some. Mainly, not necessarily that we had any issues with Hoxie or anything like that, but it was to the point where, again, we had done pretty much everything we could do there, and it was starting to get to where we were doing the same matches over and over, and neither one of us wanted to get to the point to where we just didn't want to be there. You know,
Right.
we wanted to. We were growing complacent. We were growing stagnant, and neither one of us liked feeling like that. So it was like, okay, let's go. Let's do some stuff. We'll pop in and out, so that way, you know, we can still see our friends and get to have fun and enjoy ourselves, but we don't get to the point to where we just dread being there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And both of you guys have kind of been with OCW since it started, right?
No, not me.
My very first match was my very first consecutive shows were with OCW, and then, like I said, Dave got with me, or we got with Dave, and started moving around, and he really introduced me to Mid-South wrestling in general.
Right.
And but no, he Draven, he started with MACW or ASWF, correct?
MACW, and then after about 9 or 10 months, me and Josh started going to ASWF, because at that time, you know, Josh Cross again is who trained me, and I was traveling with him wherever he went. That's where I went. But yeah, we went to ASWF, and then we started kind of bouncing back and forth between ASWF and MACW. And then I started branching out. I hit Hoxie a few times, but I honestly didn't really.
I just saw Jack's.
Oh,
I just saw Jack's comment.
I really didn't start working like more often at Hoxie until about 2 years ago. Yeah, October will be 2 years, so about a year and a half ago. Where I was there, we were there full time pretty much for about a year and a half until the beginning of this year. So yeah, I wasn't around there when it first started.
Well, I try to keep an eye on as much of the wrestling around here as I can, and man, I feel like Hoxie, it took them a little. And this new version is what I'm talking about.
Right.
It's been here been back open since after COVID and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
It took them a little while to kind of find their groove, and here's the thing too about wrestling. You got to educate your fans to your product. I know wrestling had been in Hoxie before this version of OCW, but you give them a different product and a new product from what they seen last time. Sometimes it takes a little while to educate these fans on what they're going to see, and I feel like it took them a little bit, but it looks like they're starting to draw crowds now, and fans are into the show.
The new direction is definitely a plus. They're of course, you know, after COVID, they're under new management, and they've got good guys in place working with them, and homegrown guys, you know, not guys that they've cherry picked from other places, but you know, homegrown guys, and it's really starting to, and girls. It's really starting to hit their stride. So I'm really excited to see what happens with them in the next couple of years, and I hope to actually be a part of some of those things. So
yeah, with a company like with any of these small companies around here, the thing about it, if you go run a certain town every week, week in, week out, you have to build your own roster. You've got to find your guys. And you got to build them guys, because you cannot, first of all, you don't have the money to bring names in, and you don't want to get the fans used to names every show, and then all of a sudden you can't bring them in, because then the fans are like, well, what are we here for? You have to build your own roster and your own talent from scratch pretty much. And once you get those guys over in, a prime example, Osceola, Arkansas, man, it has been in business for 30 years based on what happened the first probably 10 years of its existence.
Right.
Those
back
fans
when Moondogs.
Those fans have, not just those fans, their kids and grandkids have stuck with that wrestling.
Look, couple months back, I wrestled there, and there was a kid, or there was an actual, I say a kid, there was a young adult that came to me and remembered me from when I first debuted there back in 2000, like I think in 2011.
Right.
And you know, old in the business, I guess, because it was just so cool. Because he remembered me. Right. That is true. Sorry. But yeah, he remembered me from all those years and that gimmick that I was doing sideshow there. And to have him come up to me and actually be, a training wrestler there, I was just like, wow, that's so cool. To me, that was just like, you came to watch it, your parents came to, brought you to watch wrestling, and you remember me, and not saying that it was me that caused him to want to do that, but to be a part of that legacy and that history of him.
Yeah.
I was a kid when I watched this show, and now I'm a young adult, and I'm training to wrestle at this show.
Right. And see, that's something I don't think a lot of wrestlers take as seriously as they should. Look, you go in these little towns and you're there week in, week out. These people grow up on you. You are their stars. You are their, every Friday night's their WrestleMania.
Right.
They look at you. Casual people don't understand that, but these fans that growed up on you since their infancy, they look at you just like you're Cody Rhodes or something.
Right.
To them,
They remember wrestling storylines that you remember watching on television. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, man, you remember me in the same light that you remember Hogan body slamming Andre the Giant at WrestleMania.
You remember
3.
that? I can't even remember what I ate for lunch yesterday.
But you're right. It's the cool thing about wrestling. You sort of become like a folk hero to these people, and if they come every week in and week out, and OCW for 14 years.
Right.
And
this Saturday is their
this Saturday is their anniversary show.
I didn't realize that.
Yep.
Yeah. So like
cool.
like Jack said right there, even look at our kids now. My oldest son, me and Jack trained him. He was 13. He debuted when he was 17. My second oldest, he just turned 18. He wrestled for a short time, and just the legacy there of sitting in the crowd to transitioning to wrestling, and as a father, seeing your kids kind of follow, so to speak, in your footsteps is it's beyond belief.
Right. Jack.
Yeah, Buster, for sure.
Read that
Man,
comment.
I'm so far. I'm probably 4.5 hours away from Hoxie, man.
Oh Jesus!
Dude,
Hey, I'm 3 hours, so
Dude, I would love to go. There's so many shows out there that I'd love to make it do. And if I'm ever in Arkansas, close to it, at the right time, and the show's going on, you can bet I will come there. I really should get out more. When I was filming, I was going to all kinds of shows all the time.
Right.
Since I hadn't been filming, man, I probably hadn't been to maybe 3 shows in the past
I've
6-7 months, dude.
I've actually been watching Buster Unmasked for quite a while now, and I remember you hitting up all those shows.
Jack says that's a short job.
Hey, look, for here lately, those shows are they seem like they're a pretty far trip. So when you get one that's like 3.5, 4 hours, you're like, whew, that's a vacation right there.
I don't even like driving to work. I don't like driving.
Man, when I was young, I loved it. I could drive all night long, all day. Man, I could stay up 3 days with no help. Now, since I'm older, man, I hate driving at night. That's the one I need if I'm going to go to a bunch of shows, I got to have somebody drive me, man.
Right.
Doing that number.
Dave used to tell me he used to be able to do it all night. Now it takes him all night to do it.
Right, there you go. Well, guys, look, man, we're running right up on an hour and 50 minutes. Once again, we before we even went on, what did we say? We're gonna probably hour and a half, and here we are at 2.
And
guys,
we could probably keep going if we wanted to.
Oh, dude. Look, wrestling in general, like we could talk about it for days and days and days.
I'm the same way, man. I catch, sometimes I have to cut. Sometimes even at 3 hours, I could keep going,
Right.
Yeah.
And I know you guys understand that. Y'all do y'all's
Oh, yeah.
podcast. Plug all your stuff, man. Plug where you guys are going to be. Matter of fact, do y'all want to? Well, it's in that video. I know y'all don't want to listen to that damn whole video again to see the flyers, but plug.
No, I love the video. But yeah, guys. So this weekend, Draven's going to be at Hoxie, their anniversary show, 14 years. They call it Bang Your Head. Really fun time, really good show. I'm gonna be in Tennessee, at a show.
I got the list pulled up.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
May 4th, 100 Wrestling and Win. We will be tagging. I don't think it's been announced who we're going against, but I'm looking.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm excited.
May 5th, we're in Memphis. May 11th in Hot Springs at Vapors Championship Wrestling. This will be their second show.
Right. So real quick, if you like to see another side of the coin of the monsters, check out Memphis Wrestling because we're doing something completely different over there.
Yeah. And then we got May 18th. We will be at OCW for the Ellie Heisman benefit show. Definitely going to be there for that.
Right.
June 1st, GCW Gladiator Championship Wrestling. We are in the main event against a couple guys. They call themselves Raging Cajuns. It's a hardcore Bayou Monsters Ball something or other match.
Kitchen sink match. I'm actually bringing one of those. Raging Cajuns. I hope you brought your lunch because I'm bringing a kitchen sink.
Sounds like that match is designed perfectly for you guys, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, and two, what the guy that runs it said, they haven't had any hardcore stuff at all at their shows, and they wanted to at least do something. And with me and Bruce, we're known for stuff like that, so they felt like it was the best option. And then the guys we're working with, they'll pretty much do anything we tell them to. And then we got multiple Memphis shows. We got more Vino shows this year coming up.
Vinos, that's what I meant to. That's the one.
EACW.
Right, man. I meant to ask y'all about that show, man. That seems like it's a. Man, if I was wrestling, it seems like a show that I would love to work on. It's
telling you what,
quarters, right up on the fans are right there. I feel the energy every time I see any of the footage.
When I tell you that it is the closest thing you can get to Pro Wrestling Guerrilla.
Yeah. If Pro Wrestling Guerrilla met ECW. Dude,
I'm telling you what, it is a completely different animal. The guys that we trained hated me after a Vino show because my wrestling battery was completely recharged. I'm their heavyweight champ over there at the moment. Hopefully I can continue to defend that title. But yeah, dude, Vino's is just crazy fun. It's ran by a great bunch of guys, and they're all about putting wrestling in a place that normally doesn't have it.
Too. There's a lot of freedom. Like you get the baseline on what what they want to accomplish for the show, but you pretty much you get a lot of freedom character wise and match wise and all that you don't get at a lot of places.
Man, I love the atmosphere. It looks like it would. Here's the thing.
It's a blast.
Some shows are more fun than others, and Vino seems like it's a blast, man. It seems like a show that I would enjoy working.
That's where I became the king of the monsters.
I love the atmosphere. I love that the fans are right up on the ring. It's like you can feel them breathe on you, man.
Right.
Feel you,
and the cool thing about being based at Vino's is that pizza place has such a storied history of underground punk rock, underground music in general. And the fans, they bring that vibe with them. You know what I'm saying? So every show feels like a brand new punk rock show.
Yeah, it's full of energy, man. There ain't nothing worse than seeing a show or walking into a show or a dressing room and it's dead.
Oh,
man,
yes.
When you walk into a show, if the fans are milling around, talking, kids are running around, playing, waiting on the show, You can feel that energy. You walk in there and everybody's sitting down they're on their phones.
Right,
but nobody's talking to each other. It's dead silence. You can 100% bet when you cross over into the dressing room, the guys are the exact same way as the fans. There's no energy, man. You got to have energy on your wrestling shows, man. It's just as simple as that.
That is true.
You do, man. It's just is what it is, man. So look, guys, plug your podcast and stuff when all this is coming on, where people can find it. Plug all your stuff.
Right. So every Thursdays, Special Dummies Unit, 8:15. Be myself, Draven, Fred James, the man as always, Fred James, and our friend
most
Roland.
Over guy in Arkansas wrestling. Period.
I'm glad he can't hear that because he'd try to fight you. But yeah, that's every Thursday at 8:15, a weekly show. We're like I said, we just finished up, or like we said, we just finished up with season 1 of Cryptids and Creepy Stuff. That will be next season will be coming up pretty soon. We're actually in the works on getting that lined out on which state we want to go to next. Then we have the Shoots and Giggles that David does, Raven does. Whenever he's got a bunch of guys planned on coming on there. I've got Wrestling with ADHD and Bruce. It's the opposite Tuesday of the Cryptids and Creepy Stuff.
Cryptids.
It's a Bigfoot. But yeah, we're talking about, you can find us on.
Find all of this on SDU Networks, Facebook, and YouTube. We stream to like 6 different locations whenever we do stuff. Typically, my Facebook page, Bruce's YouTube, my YouTube, the SDU YouTube, my Draven page, the SDU page. I mean, we're all over the place when we do this stuff.
Right, dude. That's what it takes, man. I mean, people don't realize YouTube and social media in general, man. You have to work. You have to create content, and then you have to work that content constantly.
Right,
man.
Right.
It's just
we'll OnlyFans.
So
hey, we're gonna start Only Freds.
Right.
Starring Fred James.
So the next one we're about to Feet by Bruce. So the next one we're coming up with is a conspiracy podcast. Not sure what it's called yet, but that's gonna be pretty happening spot too for y'all y'all conspiracy heads out there.
That's primarily gonna be Bruce and Roland. I'm just gonna be
dude.
Sitting there going, y'all are idiots.
I love conspiracies, man. I'll invent a bunch of my own, man.
Right. I love like wrestling conspiracies. So like that whole, like, you know, when you book Beer 30, they're gonna show up drunk. Like,
right.
We would have breathalyzers waiting on us when we get to the show. Like, I just want to. So before you get out of that car, I just need you to blow in this thing.
Well, it's like the newest one is if you book the monsters, you're going to get stiff.
Right. I don't even know where that came from. Probably some jabroni that didn't like wrestling tight.
Right. Guys, man, it's been a blast, dude. Both of y'all, man, I've had a blast doing this with you guys, man. I was a little, of course, I'm nervous before every one of these. Why? I don't know, because lately I've been on all week this week. Sometimes I do this 14, 15 times a week, it feels like, man.
Wow.
But, no, I don't, but it feels like that, man.
Right.
You know, but I've had a blast, dude. I've really enjoyed talking with you guys and talking wrestling with you guys, man. We'll definitely have to get you guys back. I want to bring you guys back on single or separate as features. That way we can kind of go back and learn about each one of you guys, how y'all got into the business, how you fell in love with wrestling, the whole 9 yards.
So that way me and Bruce aren't stumbling over each other.
Dude, me and a guy were doing commentary 2 Saturdays ago for AHCW. And man, it's first time we'd worked together too, and it took us about 3 matches to kind of get each other's rhythm, you know. I dread seeing what the first couple of matches sound like, man.
Right.
But
Well, when it comes to Bruce, I just know sometimes I just have to start talking because he'll just keep
Right.
going.
Jack,
the
you're
way
the one
it
that
is.
started that rumor.
Hold on, Jack came back again.
Look, I'm long-winded. What can I say?
Dude, I'm used to that. Like I said, I plan on getting off of these most time within an hour and a half, and sometimes, man, they last 3 hours. And then I still have to force myself to get off. You know what I mean?
Right.
Guys, I appreciate y'all so much, man. Been
Thank you
my
so
pleasure.
much.
I appreciate y'all guys
Been a
giving me
blast.
your time. Dude, y'all got an open invitation. You're welcome anytime y'all want to come back.
Thank you so
Just
much.
let us know, man.
Yes, sir. I will definitely get with y'all. Y'all take it easy and have a great night, guys.
You too.
Well,
Thank
have
you.
a good one.
All right, y'all. You seen it right there. The modern day monsters, man. You need to go check these guys out. Really cool guys. Really over right now, man. The modern day monsters are popping up everywhere. I'm sure they're going to pop up in a town near you soon. If not, find these guys wherever they're at and go see them. You will not be disappointed. Guys, tomorrow night, the last night of the week, 7 p.m., Premier Pro Wrestling. Do not miss it. I appreciate everybody who watched, everybody who tuned in, and I appreciate the guests. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up